Hi everyone. Well, you've seen the headline today, hunger tightening its grip on millions, according to the World Food Program. We all know and are familiar with the situation in Gaza, but also Haiti, Sudan, Bangladesh, and elsewhere. The hunger being fueled by war, climate change, displacement, and indifference. I wanted to say, when I was based in Gaza and the West Bank and East Jerusalem in the early 2000s, I mean, it was night and day compared to what we're seeing now when people are dying of malnutrition. According to the BBC, 113 people have died of starvation since October 7th. So when we were in Gaza, we made multiple visits. Pretty much every sector of the Gaza Strip we covered as UNICEF. Markets were brimming with produce, with fruits, with vegetables. And it was a time when Gaza actually exported things like tomatoes and strawberries elsewhere. There was even an airport built with millions of dollars, I believe, by EU funds that would, help facilitate the economic development of Gaza. It was bombed by the Israelis. And now we have this horrible, horrible situation where Israel is preventing aid from getting in. There's been a little trickle in the past 48 hours or so, but what's needed are thousands and thousands of trucks. It's not that the funding isn't there. It's not that the food isn't there. They're actually waiting to get inside, but Israel is not allowing it. And, it breaks our hearts, breaks my heart to see this happening, this mass starvation on air in real time. I just watched video and you can actually see the health workers that are, trying as hard as they can. One of them said, we can't close our eyes to the suffering that is happening. We just don't have the time. And they're actually looking more gaunt. You can see that happening. And what else is happening in the food that is being distributed by the very controversial Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, US backed, Israeli backed? People go and they're getting shot or trampled. And one of the doctors said, if I send my family for food, food is now a path to death. Think about that for a minute. Food in the Gaza Strip, getting food is a path to death. With the Israelis preventing food from getting in, with them bombing civilian homes and schools and health centers, these are all crimes according to international humanitarian law. It leads me to say what we have right now is pretty much the biggest open air crime scene in the world. Now, I spoke by WhatsApp to a very trusted columnist and friend of mine in Amman, Jordan, just the day before yesterday, and I asked him, please give me your quick take on what you're happening not far away from you. And he said, his name is Osama al-Sharaf, he said, it's unbelievable, Michael, that the world watches babies die of man-made famine in real time. If a deal isn't reached in a couple of days, then we'll be seeing mass extermination before our eyes. Another word about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. This is a very, very bad precedent that it sets, that it's basically, with US backing again, taken the mandate of United Nations and other aid organizations and is distributing food or trying to distribute it. And this is basically the weaponization of aid. It's the worst possible thing that can happen. And why does it set a bad precedent is because the fear is among aid workers, and I moderated a panel recently at the ZEG Storytelling Festival in Tbilisi with experts, and they said that, our fear is that this will be copied by other states or entities, non-state parties, and it just doesn't work. I've been involved in distributions of food and aid in many different places in the world, including on the Tajikistan-Afghanistan border. And it isn't rocket science, but there is a pattern, a procedure, and that clearly isn't within the capacity of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They should be totally removed from the process, and the people who know what they're doing best, for example, the World Food Program, should put in there immediately. So what needs to be done right away is these masses of trucks waiting to get in need to get in. Secondly, people who are on the brink of death or have injuries or whatever from sniper fire or bombing raids, whatever, need to be allowed access to Israel. Israel has treated a lot of Palestinians actually, or to Egypt. And also more, of course, freedom of movement. They're talking about, for example, setting up a humanitarian safe zone in parts of Gaza, but this is a small part of the Gaza Strip. It's just unfeasible to do right now. And of course, the fighting needs to stop. We need a ceasefire, and we also need a long-term path for economic development of the Gaza Strip. People don't have the means to live anymore, to make ends meet. I have some ideas for that, but I'll leave it for another time. Also, what bothers me, because I mentioned the other countries at the beginning other than Gaza, is that are we becoming numb to this? Even that statement the other day, 20 plus countries, including UK, France, Canada, the EU, was very, very harsh. They criticized Israel's drip feed approach to aid in the Gaza Strip. And, 2, 3, 4 days later, whatever it is, we're still in the same position. They did promise further action or threaten further action, and that was code for, well, the UK and France might do what other countries have done and recognize Palestine as a state. But it's something that Israel has totally dismissed. So my hopes and prayers and thoughts are with the people of Gaza. I got to know many, many people there, many colleagues, and this needs to end now, not tomorrow or the day after, but now. Thanks for listening.